guys, Bridgie here. In this video I want to share with you some of the top takeaways from earning over $60,000 from digital products online. Now this has been an amount which I gathered over the years, and there's a few things that you need to keep in mind if you want to reach the same level or even scale to multiple six figures. And that is that it's going to require time, but even most importantly is the timing. And this is something that I wished that I learned more earlier on, because timing in the market is even more important sometimes than the quality of the work. Meaning that if you enter a niche earlier on, you can have an average product and you're still going to make a lot of money. While if you entered a very saturated niche where there's a lot of competitors, each and every customer has a lot of different options to choose from for that exact same type of product, you're going to have to compete with price, and that is something that you don't want to do. So in the digital product realm, this is something which is really important, and I'll give you a practical example. When I first launched my dashboard UI kits, I was in a right time, meaning that there weren't that many dashboard UI kits, or the ones that were around weren't really of high quality. So I managed to make almost $1,000 in the very first month with just one single product, which didn't take me a whole lot of time to create. But as time goes on, there's more dashboard UI kits on the market, and nowadays customers have so many different options to choose from that it's kind of hard to compete if you don't niche down. So this is the very first thing. Do your research and don't just look at these other YouTubers that they're telling you, oh, I'm making X amount with this type of product, and simply go ahead and copy the product, because by the time they already made that amount, maybe a couple months have gone by, and they're shooting the video maybe a year later. So you kind of get the point where I'm getting this. And this is especially true when it comes to Etsy shops, which is something which is very hyped these days, but it's quite a saturated idea if you go with the classic route that everybody is doing. So you need to think outside of the box, and you really need to nail the timing and your market research. Now I'm going to share with you some of the top websites which I really enjoy selling products, and these ones are going to be UI8 as the first one, mainly because I'm a UI UX designer. I've been doing this for a decade, and the type of products which I can sell over here are really in line with my core expertise. Now, granted, these days I don't really focus too much on digital products, because I actually run a six-figure business which is focused on delivering designs to clients. But overall, if I were to start from scratch, UI8 definitely a place to consider, as well as Creative Market if you have more of an illustration and artsy type of expertise. On Creative Market, there's a lot of opportunities, especially when it comes to things like fonts, photos, graphics, which are more intricate and decorative. So you're going to have to take a look at these websites and really think about what are your core skill sets, what are your core expertise, and basically you want to leverage your talents and only your strengths, and try to avoid creating products which are just focused around things that maybe you're good at but not great at, because that is the short key for success. You always want to leverage your skill sets. And then of course there is Etsy. There's a lot of activity on Etsy these days, and Out of all of these sites, Etsy is the one with the most traffic potential because it's a very big website with a ton of traffic that receives on a monthly basis. They're even listed in the stock exchange, so you can automatically understand how big of an opportunity you have as an Etsy seller. So this is definitely something that you want to keep in mind. And also another thing is you're going to need a degree of luck, and this is something which I think most people don't tell you on YouTube. They automatically make the assumption that everything is almost like a math equation, and you have X amount of traffic, your competitor has this amount of sales. So if you create a product around those lines, you're maybe going to have a X percentage of a return, which you can expect. But truth be told, it really varies on a lot of different things, especially the algorithm and how you're going to be listed, your consistency, your activity. Are you going to bring traffic from other sources or just rely on their internal search engines? All of these elements and the variables are going to play an important role in you being able to succeed in this realm or not. And on top of that, another consideration which is important to do is rather if you want to go with one of these on selling on one of these websites, or if you want to sell on your personal website. And the same is going to apply also for courses when it comes to the rationale behind this. But of course, if you sell on your personal website, you have your own rules. You can charge higher, you can keep higher amounts because you won't have as much of a brokerage percentage, or in some instances with some brokerage selling accounts, you're going to have all of the profit. But at the same time, you're going to have to bring all of the traffic yourself. So this is something which you're going to have to take in consideration. There isn't any right or wrong. You can also do both potentially, but definitely something that you have to keep in mind, because it's not really a black and white linear thing. Sometimes the traffic and the infrastructure that these websites have is really going to make a difference in the amount of money that you can make from selling your digital products online, rather than just doing all of it yourself. So you're going to have to do that evaluation. And I hope this video was helpful. Subscribe to my newsletter to stay in touch with me and how I travel the world while I work as a designer job and have a business also on the side. So definitely, if you're interested in learning more about that, I share more in my newsletter, and I'll see you in the very next